My name is Niklas. I'm a journalist and a photographer. And right now I'm working with a documentary film project that has been funded, or not funded, but I have gotten support from FilmCentrum Syd. As a journalist, I've been working in radio and with newspapers, photographing as well. But I always wanted to try and do something with more substance to it than news writing. And film has a very, I like film a lot, especially documentaries. So that was kind of something that I wanted to get into. And I have no film background. I haven't been working with film that much. A couple of years ago, I took a class in project development that had like a focus on filmmaking. And after that, I started to work with a project that it's very personal. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but it's basically about myself and my father, about alcoholism and codependence. I wouldn't say it's a coming of age story, it's more a coming to terms story. So that is what I'm working with right now. While studying journalism, I caught on to like filmmaking and the storytelling within film because it has so much more depth to it than what you can in written text. Also, it's much more widespread. Not a lot of people read magazines these days, or not as much as it has been before, I guess. And so already while studying journalism, I started trying to make short films and trying to just on my own recording video. Slowly I got to learn more about the medium like myself, and also I have a lot of friends working with film and photography. And so I've kind of pieced together, like from my journalism background, and trying to ask, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? And what do I need? Do I need external sound? What lens do I need to film this scene and stuff like that? So it's been like slowly, gradually, progressing in that aspect. And now I wouldn't say that I'm my strength is still the ability to find a story more than filming or editing. I'm terrible at editing, so, but so it's still a gradual journey, I guess you could say. For me, the upside is that I get to find the stories that I want to make, and I get to. It's much more. I get to be much more closer to the story with filmmaking, especially as an independent, because it's only you and the camera, and then it's terrible to keep track of the camera, of the sound, of the setting, and still trying to direct or whatever, because that's most often how I do it, at least. But the upside of it is that you get so much more close to the subject that you're filming. And especially since now the project that I'm working on for most of my time is very personal. It would have been very hard to make with a bigger team or whatever, and that's the kind of story that I also tend to move towards, and so that's an upside. The downside is, of course, me, for example, I'm studying in the same time. I'm also working part-time as a journalist because I wouldn't be able to as very few can, live on independent filmmaking. I mean. And of course that's one of the downsides as well, because it's very hard to have the time. You have to make the time, and it's not that easy always when you have other things that has to be done, like paying rent and eating food and stuff like that. So the support I've gotten is basically that I've been able to sit down full time. I have somewhere to go because, you know, when you have your office at home, there's always something else to do. You have to do the dishes, and as soon as something gets hard, it's so easy just to, you know, stand up and leave and do something else for a way too long time. And so the good thing about being at FilmCentrum has been that I can actually, you know, I have a time that I am supposed to be here. I have a time that I'm supposed to leave, and so I have to do the work during those hours. And there are no distractions, even though there's very nice people sitting here. It's only during lunch, and then you go inside your little cave and you're in your bubble and you're just working with the film, and that has been hugely helpful. And also like the creative backing of asking questions and showing material to people working here and get their views on what it is, and also helping with like pointers and tips on where I can apply for funding, what I should do about like screening, and I haven't borrowed or rented material or technical equipment from FilmCentrum, but like if I'd had that use, it would have been great. So basically, to say it in a shorter way, as an independent filmmaker, it's really good to have some kind of structure to lean on a bit, to get the help that you need, especially for me as I'm just starting out. The whole film industry is I can't understand any of it really, because you know you have to get funding from there, and you have to apply from there, and you have to make 3 films before you can apply from there, and then you have to do this, and you should know about writing this in your application, and you have to go into the application form at just the right time, and if you have a project that's close or similar to another project, then it's you know, you have to be from the right part of Sweden. You have to make the film in the right part, or in the and so it's very comfortable to have someone to, you know, in a way guide you a little bit through that.